Let's get started. Number 10, Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney is a place in an alternate world where the court system has been changed to the point where trials held in first instance courts must reach a verdict within 3 days or 72 hours. Like saying this person is guilty. A rookie lawyer named Phoenix Wright, he works under his mentor, Mia Fey. If you played any Ace Attorney games, story of the crime usually never goes how you think. Though the killer is usually revealed before Wright figures out who it is, the story behind it usually isn't something that is foreseen easily. The comedy overall here is about average, and you shouldn't judge shit by its cover. When I first started watching this, I never played any Ace Attorney games until after. It currently holds 28 episodes with 5 more left. Number 9, Date A Live. Date A Live is an anime in which an ordinary teenager named Shiro Itsuka becomes a not-so-ordinary teenager after an incident in which an unnamed girl appears from another dimension. He realizes his sister is also indeed, as we would say, an alien from another dimension. In order to seal these female girls' powers, he is forced to go on a date with them and make the girls fall in love with him. The anime is overall actually pretty funny, and the romance is everywhere. There are some ecchi scenes here, but it is only used for pure comedy and relationship building. If harem and romance animes are what you enjoy, then I really highly recommend this. Action scenes are sometimes portrayed here, but it's mainly for the romance that they're going for. Number 8, Sky Witches Academy. This story takes place where humanity is driven off by magical armored insects and now live in aerial floating cities. The main character, Kanata, was once known as a hero, now becomes known as a traitor because of his acts in not participating at battles. He is one day assigned as a mentor to Group E601, one of the groups that has lost over 100 consecutive defeats. The anime is a semi-harem type. It's pretty straightforward, not including many twists. The art is overall really nice, and the different personalities of the girls does make the show somewhat hilarious. The show isn't very well known, but if you are really bored and got nothing else to do, just sit back and watch this. Number 7, Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super is pretty much well known by everyone now. The story takes place after the events of the Majin Buu saga, in which Goku meets the God of Destruction. Eventually he gets involved into more and more battles and meets up with more enemies and allies. The animation for this is definitely, in my opinion, not as good as Dragon Ball Z, but the story does make up for it. The first two sagas, if you watch the movies Dragon Ball Z, Resurrection of F, and Battle of the Gods, it's pretty much the same. The third arc right now is not portrayed as a movie, so shows a returning character, and it's really, in my opinion, what makes the anime good. I really do recommend watching this to Dragon Ball Z fans, because you have been waiting many years for a sequel. Number 6, 100. 100 is a weapon that can only shatter the steel of savages, life forms that mysteriously appeared on Earth. Hayato enrolls in an academy called Little Garden. He is greeted by a person named Emily Crossford that seems to show affection towards Kisaragi. On top of that, the Queen, also known as the strongest in Little Garden, challenges Kisaragi to a duel that would determine whether he stays or goes. 100 is your typical harem ecchi anime. The story is overall decent, with good music scenes. The romance and ecchi scenes appear more around the first half of the anime. It is complete and has 12 episodes. It's a fun show to watch, and if you ever need an anime to watch, come and watch this. Number 5, Trinity 7. The main character, Kasuga Arata, is your average perverted teenager. His carefree life ends as soon as he finds out his cousin, or should I say a person who is made to look like his cousin, created an illusion that would fulfill Arata's wish events ago. The anime is action, fantasy, harem, ecchi, romance, and school. The ecchi scenes are pretty much what makes up the comedy. It did give me and my friend a good laugh. The action and magic inside here plays a little bit of a smaller role than the romance and harem, though many action scenes are still portrayed here. It's a hilarious show, and I give full recommendations for this. Number 4, Toradora. The main character, Ryuji Takasu, is a gentle person on the inside, though many are intimidated by his eyes, which makes him look like a delinquent. He one day accidentally bumps into a girl, one of the scariest yet tiniest students in the school, known as Taiga Aisaka. On the night of the encounter, he saw a love letter that was misplaced into his bag by Aisaka. To make matters worse, the letter inside was empty. Taiga sneaks into Ryuji's apartment and tries to kill him, though she fails and is embarrassed by the fact that she did not even put inside the letter. The two decides to build romantic relationships between their crush. Surprisingly enough, Ryuji's crush is Taiga's friend, and Taiga's crush is Ryuji's friend. The anime is overall pretty much pure romance. The reason why I put Toradora on my list is, well, one, because it might have been the cause of me starting to actually watch anime. The main heroine in this story is a tsundere, for the record. Most of you probably heard of this anime since it's pretty popular and it holds a special place in my heart. It's a good anime for beginners if you just started watching, and you should watch this. I give this a 10 out of 10. Number 3, Nisekoi. The main protagonist, Raku Ichijo, 10 years ago made a promise to a girl that if they ever crossed paths again, they would be engaged. As a memento, he wears a pendant around his neck, and the promised girl would hold a key that unlocks what's inside. Reality smashes into his face, literally, by a hot-headed girl named Chitoge Kirisaki. Both get off to a bad start, and to make matters worse, they are forced to be girlfriend and boyfriend. If not, the two clans would go into war and cause the city to crumble. Thus started a comedy and romantic relationship between the two. Nisekoi is, in my opinion, the most cliche yet hilarious anime I've ever seen. There isn't much to say about this. It's pure comedy and romance. The two genres usually switch out. For example, if the scene isn't romantic, it's comedy. I cannot express how good this anime is. Just watch it. It's currently 2 episodes that probably only covers half of the story. The manga is done, so you can skip all the way to see who the promised girl is. Again, just watch it. It's really, really hilarious. Number 2, Outbreak Company. Kano Shinchi, a regular shut-in otaku, soon takes a job that requires him to spread otaku culture among a fantasy world. He is accompanied by a half-elf maid and an empress who's a little girl. The anime is not action genre, it is just for comedy and fantasy purposes only. I first thought this was going to be a bust, but it actually turned out to be pretty decent. There isn't much to say, it's very straightforward and very fun to watch. Don't judge a book by its cover, just watch it. Number 1, Unbreakable Machinedoll. Raishin, the main protagonist, goes to the Royal Academy to be the best puppeteer in the world. His puppet, a teenage girl named Yaya, accompanied him. However, his test scores were on the bottom, so his journey is a long and cold one. Raishin also wants to take revenge on his elder brother, the one that killed his family. This desires is what causes the main protagonist to keep moving on forward. This anime is by far my favorite. The art is beautiful with a heroine that's actually bold towards the protagonist. It is above average in story and popularity. I fully recommend watching this. The action is pretty much everywhere, while the ecchi scenes are not portrayed as much. Romance does occur here with Yaya over Raishin. Anyway, this anime is just great. It only has 1 season while the novels are still going. Just give it a go. I find it's way better than any other I've ever watched. 絶対迎えに行くから